was a trial should have never been brought, but if we had a jury, it would have been fair, at least, even if it was a somewhat negative jury, because no negative jury was brought against me. But this judge will, because this judge is a very partisan judge, with a person who's very partisan sitting alongside of him, perhaps even much more partisan than he is. So we are doing very well. The facts are speaking very loud. He's a totally discredited witness, and you haven't seen anything yet. This goes on for a long time, but he's a totally discredited witness.
This is Michael Popok, Legal AF. Another day of Donald Trump attending his own fraud case. Another violation by him of the gag order put in place by Judge Engoron to stop him from attacking people like Judge Engoron's law clerk. Happened again. Look, I don't know what's going on with the defense, but they've decided to pick a fight with the law clerk, and they're battling it out with the law clerk as if that is making a difference in the outcome of the evidence presentation in the case. So Donald Trump, as you just heard, went out into the hallway during a break in the action of Michael Cohen testifying and made those comments. And any 5-year-old who has any spatial awareness whatsoever has to conclude that Donald Trump was talking about the law clerk. There is only one other person on planet Earth that sits adjacent to or alongside of a judge who's up on high on a bench, and that's his staff and his law clerk. Everybody else is below the judge. Anybody that watches Law and Order or any movie dealing with trials knows that no one is on Mount Olympus with the judge except for the judge and his staff. And so for the argument to be that that clip we just showed you has to be Michael Cohen, who's a witness, who's a good 6 feet down from where the judge is and isn't sitting alongside the judge, is preposterous and totally unbelievable. In fact, the judge doesn't even believe it. Before we get to what happened with the hearing and the resulting $10,000 sanction, and more importantly, forget the $10,000 sanction. A finding today by the judge that after Donald Trump was put under oath and testified to the judge's questions, right? A earth-shattering event for his case, that he had to take the stand under duress, under threat by a judge, and the judge concluded that he lied. That Donald Trump lied to the judge. That's what it means when the judge concluded, I don't find the witness credible. That's a nice way of saying, I don't believe Donald Trump under oath, which means he lied to me. Now, let's see Donald Trump and what he said again in the hallway, trying to allege that, no, I didn't mean alongside, I meant Michael Cohen. Let's roll that clip.
Mr. President, you violated the gag order.
So what just happened, as you know, is the witness was fully impeached. He admitted that he lied. That was a Perry Mason moment. I hope you caught it. I don't know if you did. A lot of times the press doesn't like to report what happened.
What is happening inside the courtroom now?
What?
What's happened inside the courtroom right now?
You mean the conversation?
Yes.
That I can't tell you.
Did you violate the gag order, Mr. President?
No.
Were you referring to the clerk?
With respect to what?
The disparaging comments.
No, not at all.
Who are you speaking about when you said the person sitting beside the judge?
Okay, any other questions?
Yes, who are you referring to with that?
Any other questions?
I mean, there's no other way for the judge to conclude that Donald Trump lied than to put those two clips, the one that started my hot take and that one, back to back. There's only one person in that courtroom who's sitting alongside the judge, and that's his principal law clerk, the same person that started the whole gag order requirement in the first place. This also shows a fundamental misapprehension and misunderstanding by lawyers who do not practice regularly in my courthouse, my particular courthouse, which is the New York State Supreme Courthouse at 60 Center Street. It is not for amateur hour. It is not for the faint of heart. And it is not for people who are not from this area, who are carpetbaggers, who come in here with nobody next to them that understands practice in that courtroom. Every courtroom has its own rules around the country. For those that follow us from around the world, every courthouse, every courtroom, state or federal, has its own set of rules of the road, chamber rules for that particular judge. In New York in particular, the law clerk plays a tremendous role in the administration of justice, probably like no other place. They are basically junior judges. They make many decisions about discovery and other things as gatekeepers that don't even go to the judge. I got a case right now where the law clerk who was yelled at by opposing counsel, much like Alina Habba today, to start her day before she started finishing the cross-examination of Michael Cohen, which she attacked the law clerk once again. I had an opposing counsel talk over and attack the law clerk. Same as this position that we're talking about with Judge Engoron. And that law clerk stopped that opposing lawyer in his tracks and said, "Don't you talk over me. You are to treat me the way you would treat the judge in a courtroom." That is the power, and that is, and by practice and by rule, what the law clerks are given that work for each judge. So it is not good strategy, I posit, for you as a lawyer to attack the law clerk over and over again and make it personal. Okay? That is not where winning and losing happens in a case in New York State Supreme Court, by attacking the law clerk. And that's what Alina Habba, that's how the day started. Just to put all this in context, the day started with Alina Habba getting up and saying she had once been a clerk. And that's the type of clerk she was, which I think was in New Jersey, was a completely different clerk than the principal law clerk that works for a New York State Supreme Court justice. It's not even comparable. It's like apples and bowling balls. She said, when I was a clerk, I was a clerk. So I take offense at the eye rolling and whatever acting out she said that the law clerk was doing while she was cross-examining Michael Cohen. Look, she can do what she wants. She's the law clerk. I'm not even sure that that's even an accurate description of what the law clerk was doing. But they have it in their mind that the law clerk is their enemy. In fact, they said, we got two judges here. Yeah, welcome to New York State Supreme Court practice. You have a lot of responsibility that's imbued within the principal law clerk. If you would know that if you practiced here regularly, and you would treat that law clerk with the respect almost at the level of the judge. You know, Alina Habba likes to say she hasn't earned that. She doesn't have the rope. You, Alina Habba, don't understand local practice. You should go get. I know everybody thinks you're the local New York lawyer, but you're not. You're the New Jersey lawyer who comes over every day and has an office in a WeWork in New York. That's not the same thing. Go get a local lawyer that really understands the rules of the road to guide you, because you're way out of your depths. And going after this law clerk is only getting your client in trouble. And now your client, because of Alina Habba's shenanigans and this obvious decided strategy that they have to attack the law clerk, has now gotten Donald Trump, who's undisciplined as they come, to go out in the hallway and attack her again, and not only get the fine. I know the headline's going to be $10,000 fine, double the fine from last time, because last time Trump got a $5,000 fine. And yes, the judge also threatened him in that order with possible jail time if he violates again. And I think we're getting awful close to that. It's not just the $10,000; it's that the judge put Donald Trump under oath, had him testify, asked him, who were you talking about when you made that comment? My law clerk or somebody else? And he said, Michael Cohen. And the judge concluded, I can't trust this person who's testifying. What's that going to do down the road, Alina Habba and Chris Keiss, when your client takes the stand to try to defend the inflated asset case, the deflated asset case, the fraud about your asset case, the persistent fraud at the heart of the case that could take away all of his buildings and all of his money? Now you've so screwed it that Donald Trump is already seen as a liar to this judge for future testimony. That is the takeaway from today. That's the premise of my hot take. Premise of my hot take is, this is where Donald Trump's two worlds collide. The campaigning world, where he wants to do anything in the hallway in order to get the media cycle and to raise money, to send out another mailer for cash, while at the same time, it's having real world negative impact on him in the courtroom in real time by a judge who was watching his every move for one false step and calling him out on it in real time. We don't play in New York State Supreme Court. This isn't even federal court. Where a judge would say, well, that's a very interesting what happened today. I think we should have a full briefing. We'll have a brief from you in a week and a brief from you in 2 weeks. We'll have a hearing in 3 weeks. This is state Supreme Court. This is a rodeo. Okay? And you better hold on. Things get decided immediately as they happen, and sanctions come out that day. That's the courtroom and courthouse that you're in with Judge Engoron or any of the other judges in the New York State Supreme Court. I assure you, from my understanding and my knowledge, the judges that are watching Judge Engoron, who are his colleagues, are nodding their head. They would do the exact same thing, probably worse. So that's the reporting on this particular hot take in real time here too on the MeidasTouch Network and only on their YouTube channel and on Legal AF, the leading podcast at the intersection of law, politics, and justice. Donald Trump continues to suffer from his own narcissism and ego, attacking the law clerk, getting sanctioned for violating the gag order, not only having to pay $10,000, but ruining any ability of his to be able to be a persuasive advocate in truth down the road in this case by lying to the judge today, lying to the American people on clips that we just showed here. We're going to continue to follow this case in real time. It'll either be me, Karen Friedman, Ignifilo, Ben Meisalis, the leaders of Legal AF. We do it in hot takes like this one. We do it on the podcast, Legal AF, every Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and then on podcast platforms wherever you can get it. Until my next hot take, until my next episode of Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.